Hey everybody, last quiz of the year. Here we go. This review is a little bit longer than the quiz will be, but all the things that are on this review are on the quiz. To find any kind of numbers of terms, whether it's 4 terms, 5 terms, doesn't matter. Just depends on the way you're given. So this is, as you know, recursive. So they give you the first term, and then it just says, hey, take -3 times that and add 7. So you put it in the calculator, and then you would get 19. Then you have to take -3 times 19 plus 7, and you get -50. This one is, of course, explicit. I'm telling you this because when you're taking the test and you're asked to do it like in number 6 and 7, you have some examples on the test. That's what's kind of nice about a test like this. The questions and the answers sometimes are already sort of helping you out. So when it's explicit, obviously we plug in a 1 for n, and then figure that out. So we get -8. Then you plug in a 2 for n, so we would have 2 to the third minus 4 plus 1 squared, which is, of course, -17. And when you plug in a 3 to the third minus 6 plus 1 squared, which is -22. So determine if you have arithmetic, geometric, or neither. You can tell by just, I would always see, are we adding or subtracting? We can tell for sure that we are not adding or subtracting in number 3. And then, okay, so it has to be geometric or neither. So then how do you go from 5 to 5 over 6? It looks like you leave a 5 on the top. So we're multiplying the top by 1. And it looks like if we multiply the bottom by 6, and then multiply the bottom by 6 again, yeah, it does work. So this is geometric. So for number 4, the signs are changing, so it has to be geometric or neither. So are we multiplying by -16? Well, -16 times -16 is not 81, so this is neither. The signs don't change when you're adding and subtracting. This one looks more like maybe it's arithmetic. Let's see if that works. So from here to here, we add 7. -9 to 2, we would add 7. Yeah, we added 7 the whole time, so this is arithmetic. Explicit and recursive formulas. Well, this is number 1 is recursive, number 2 is explicit. Explicit is the formula on your paper, and recursive is, hey, base it on the term before it. So for recursive, I never write that word. A sub 1 is -7. That's how they always start. And then we have to figure out, well, how do we go from term to term? It looks like we're just multiplying by 2. Okay. So then we have A sub n minus 1 times 2. Or you could write it 2 times A sub n minus 1. For the explicit, you know it's geometric because we're multiplying by 2. So look at the geometric formulas. A sub n is equal to the first term, the ratio to the n minus 1 power. You can't simplify that, so you're done. In number 7, it looks like, what are we doing? Subtracting 5. So yeah, we're subtracting 5. So for the recursive, the first term is 8. And all the terms that come after that is the term before it minus 5. The explicit, look at the arithmetic. So A sub n is equal to the difference times n minus 1 plus your first term. Please simplify this. We've simplified it the whole time, so continue to do so. So we get -5n plus 13. Now, if you notice, I've put arithmetic here. So all of these questions are arithmetic. It's important to know that because now it tells you which formula to use. Don't forget about just basic arithmetic. If we're on term 30 and we're trying to get to term 34, that's not really that far away. All right, here's term 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. It's not that far away. So just add 8. Just keep adding 8. You know, seems pretty easy to do. So if we add 8, we get 221. 8 is 229. 8 again is 237. Add 8 again, we get 243. Is that right? 245, sorry. So 245. You don't always have to do something fancy or use a formula. If the numbers are close together, or even if they're not, and you want to just keep adding or keep multiplying, you want to just do that, do it. If you have to multiply by 255 times, then that's what you do. You can always sort of save yourself with that. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different, though. This one is going to require that you use the formula. So we know that a sub n is equal to d times n minus 1 plus a sub 1. Well, we know that one of the numbers is 752. We don't know how we go from number to number, but I'm using this term, so this would be 39 minus 1, and they were nice enough to tell us a sub 1. So we have 752 is equal to 38d minus 8. So 760 is equal to 38d. That's supposed to be d. So we divide that out and we get d equals 20. So the 11th term, you don't have to do it this way. You can just keep adding 20 from negative 8. Do that until you get the 11th term. It will be the difference times 11 minus 1 minus 8. And then you can throw that in the calculator. 192. Arithmetic means, you can always do this just sort of by figuring it out if you want to. So we know that we're at 16, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it ends at 65. And so we could call this a sub 1 if we wanted to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a sub 8. All right, so then you can subtract the tops, you can subtract the numbers, so 65 minus 16, and then subtract their place in line. So 8 minus 1. So we would have 65 minus 16 divided by 7, so this would give us, put that in the calculator, so our difference is 7. And then, since it wants all 6 answers, you do sort of have to add 7 each time. 23, 30, 37, 44, 51, and 58. And of course, if you add 7, you get to 65. So these are the answers for the arithmetic means. And if you notice here, these are all geometric. So we're going to switch. Now you're going to switch to the other formulas. And then, of course, it means we're multiplying or dividing and go from term to term. With this formula, I'm just trying to see if we could do it. It's kind of hard to just do plain old arithmetic because we don't know how we get from term to term. So we have to figure out the ratio first. We know that the 5th term is equal to the 2nd term, and then the ratio, and then these would be 5 minus 2. So we have to make sure that you don't do 5 minus 1 because we don't have the first term. You use your n, which is 5, and then where we started is actually a 2. So you can kind of adjust the formulas like that to sort of make it make sense. So then a sub 5 is negative 48. A sub 2 is negative 6, and then we have r to the 3rd. So this will give us 8, and we divide equals r to the 3rd, so your ratio is 2. So that means when we divide by, so if we have negative 6 here, we go backwards. This would make a sub 1 negative 3, right? Because we have to divide. So if we're multiplying going to the right, then you divide going to the left. So now we know to find a sub 7, we know that we have negative 3 is our first term, and 2 to the 6th power. So negative 192. It's always a little tricky to sort of change the formula. Let's see, for this one, wow, we're going from a sub 5, which is 1/4, 6, 7, 8. If you want to do it this way, just multiply by negative 1/2, or use the formula. So if we multiply by negative 1/2, because we don't know a sub 1, so it makes it hard to use the formula. So negative 1/2 would make this, sorry, my brain stopped working, negative 1/8, and then by 1/2 again would be positive 1/16, times negative 1/2 again would be negative 1/32. Okay. Oops, 32, sorry. Negative 1/32 is the answer. I just can't write that for some reason. So we have 3 means here. So we know we have a 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it ends in 48. Now for this, because we're multiplying, if you can kind of tell, and sometimes you can just sort of tell, and you have a good feeling for what you're doing, or you want to guess and check, you know you're multiplying by a whole number, there's no fractions, start multiplying by 2, by 3, by 4, whatever you want to do. You can always guess and check. Or if you want to use the formula, we know that the first term is 3, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th term, which is 48. So we know that the 48 is equal to the first term, and then if we subtract these, 5 minus 1, we don't know the ratio, but this is to the 4th power. So divided by 3, so 16 is equal to r to the 4th, and then take the 4th root. So we get 2. So then the answers would be 3 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. These are the means. Now you got to be careful with these. You want to make sure that you look at your ratio. Only for the ones that have infinities. Anything else is going to work. If it has an infinity in it, you have to look at what your r is. It will have an r if it's going to infinity. You can put this in the calculator with your sigma, or you could calculate your first term. So by plugging in a 1, we get a 3. And then the 14th term, by plugging in the 14, we get negative 101. And now you can use the formula. S sub 14 is equal to 14, 3 minus 101 over 2. And then we would get negative 686. Or just plug it into the calculator. If you have a good sigma key, so you go to math, and then go over to, go down to where you see 0 summation. If you have that on your calculator, it works out probably a lot faster. Now this one we are multiplying, we can tell has a different setup, right? Because this is your r, this is your a sub 1. So this is geometric. So we know that a sub 1, we plug a 1 into that, we get wait a minute, so this is, sorry. We plug a 1 into that, we get 3. So that is a sub 1, and this is r. My fault. So a sub 1 is 3. And then we know that r is negative 4. So s sub 8 is equal to 3. 1 minus negative 4 to the 8th power over 1 minus negative 4. So you throw that in the calculator. And I think I might have the wrong answer to this. 157, 284. That might not be right. I feel like that's why I'm sort of hesitating. I feel like that one is not right. So for this one, there's your r, which is bigger than 1, because it goes to infinity, so this is divergent. You don't even have to do anything. So if it's divergent, that means there's no sum. Few story problems. I got 4.1 miles on the first day, and then 4.5, and then 4.9. So we know that it's going up by 0.4. So it's arithmetic. So we are looking for a sub 45 because we need to know the first day, which we have. We need the 45th day. So we know that the difference is 0.4. This is 45 minus 1, and our first day was 4.1. So throw that in the calculator. You get 21.7. So then, if you want to use the sigma, you can, but you're going to have to find the nth term. So you're going to have to use the formula anyway. I'd rather just do the numbers, so that's why I'm not using sigma. So we know we have 45. First term is 4.1. The last one is 21.7. We'll divide that by 2, and we get 580.5 miles. So for this one, we have $1 on the first day, then $2, then $4. Oh. So it looks like we're multiplying by 2, right? Because then, so 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So these are the numbers. If you wanted to, you could write out all 20 and add them together. I'm going to use the formula. So this is the arithmetic formula, which is your first term, 1 minus your ratio to the 30th power over 1 minus your ratio. And this is a big number. So we get $1,048,575. That's pretty good in 20 days.